Welcome to the AI Coach by Anil Latu. This is the deep dive, and we're your shortcut through all that information overload. We dig in, pull out the crucial bits, and hopefully give you those aha moments you need to really feel informed. So whether you're getting ready for a big meeting, just trying to keep up with tech, or you're just super curious about what's coming next, yeah, this deep dive is for you.
Today, we're plunging into something pretty transformative, agentic AI. Our whole chat is built around this strategic report, Shaping the Future with AI Agents. It was originally put together for Google Cloud Partners, actually. And our mission really is to unpack what this stuff is, look at the, frankly, huge market opportunities, figure out what it means strategically for businesses, and yeah, show you how it's actually working in the real world. Okay, so let's kick things off. What is agentic AI exactly? The report calls it the next step in AI. Sounds big. It's clearly moving beyond what we've seen before. It's not just about like spitting out text or making pictures. We're talking about systems that can think for themselves, reason, make decisions, and then
actually do stuff to hit goals. Like they can manage complex processes, talk to your business software all by themselves.
That's pretty much it. That ability to act is the real game changer here. Older AI might give you an answer or write something for you. Agentic AI takes that output and does something with it. It can sense what's going on around it, understand context, figure out a plan, and then, actually execute that plan across different systems, all without someone constantly holding its hand. It's that proactive capability that makes it, well, uniquely suited for tackling those really stubborn business problems.
Right, and the report hammers this home.
Yeah.
This isn't just, automation 2.0. It's a true paradigm shift.
Yeah.
Now, for years, businesses used robotic process automation, RPA. You give us a quick refresher. What was RPA good at? And maybe more importantly, where did it kind of fall short?
Oh, yeah, RPA. It was brilliant for automating really structured, super repetitive tasks, stuff that didn't change much. Think data entry, basic invoice processing. If you get the clear script, it followed it perfectly. Super efficient for that. But the big downside was its rigidity. If anything unexpected happened, if a process changed even a tiny bit, it struggled, yeah. It would usually just stop and need a human to step in. Efficient for routine, sure, but inflexible.
Okay, and then, boom, generative AI hits the scene. The report mentions that Google Cloud stat 98% of organizations are using or experimenting with it now. That's huge. And Gen AI is fantastic for like creative stuff, right? Writing emails, add copy. But the report also says using Gen AI alone to really transform core business stuff and get clear ROI. That's been proving tricky. Why is that?
Well, it's because Gen AI is fundamentally about generating things, information, content, ideas. It's incredibly powerful at that, no question. But it doesn't inherently know how to act on what it generates. It can't, on its own, manage a complex multi-step process across different software systems. You'd still need a person overseeing it. Or you'd bolt on some traditional automation to actually make things happen based on its output. Powerful generation, yes, but it lacks that autonomous execution piece.
Oh, okay. So that's where agentic AI comes in. The report says it overcomes these limitations by combining the reasoning power of Gen AI with the ability to take action in business systems. So it handles complexity, learns, adapts, all by itself. That's the promise.
That's exactly the promise.
Yeah.
It takes the reasoning smarts of Gen AI, which can understand context and nuance, and marries it with the ability to actually interact with systems and get things done like RPA could, but much more flexibly. It can handle those tricky multi-step workflows, learn from whether things worked or not, and adjust based on new info, autonomously.
So businesses can finally move past just automating simple tasks.
Right. They can start actually redesigning core processes from the ground up, building the intelligence right in. What's really fascinating, I think, is how it pulls the best bits from both RPA and Gen AI, then adds this critical layer of like intelligent, independent decision-making and action. It's not just about doing things faster or more creatively. It's about smart orchestration and adapting on the fly. That lets businesses completely rethink how work gets done. Okay, theory's great, but let's make this real. The report has some really good, concrete examples of agentic AI transforming processes. Let's start with insurance claims adjudication. You mentioned this was always tough for automation. Why was that such a headache?
Well, claims are messy, right? They often involve unstructured stuff, people describing what happened in their own words, maybe sending photos, sometimes documents are missing. Traditional automation like RPA just couldn't handle that ambiguity. If the claim description didn't fit the exact template or if a document wasn't perfectly clear, the system would just flag it.
And send it to a human.
Exactly, which created this huge bottleneck. Only the simplest, most straightforward claims could go straight through.
Everything else needed manual review. It really limited the efficiency gains.
Okay, so how does agentic AI flip the script here? Walk us through it. How does it handle all that messiness?
It's a totally different approach. First, it uses GenAI's smarts to understand all those inputs, the unstructured text, the images, maybe even voice notes. It pulls out the relevant details. Then, it checks those details against the policy rules and the customer's history. But here's the clever part. If something's missing, it doesn't just stop. It can proactively go looking for supporting documents, maybe in different systems, without needing a rigid script for every single possibility.
So it can actually hunt down missing info.
Yeah, and it can even assess risk from different types of data, like analyzing that photo of car damage alongside the claim description. It coordinates across systems.
Wow. So it gathers the info, analyzes it, then what? It doesn't just pass it off.
No, this is the action part. The agent can then orchestrate the entire resolution. That means it can process a much wider range of claims autonomously, it can trigger the payment process, it might even coordinate with, say, a repair network if needed.
So the straight-through processing rate must shoot up.
Significantly, many more claims get handled end-to-end by the AI, which means the human specialists. They're freed up for the genuinely complex, high-judgment cases that really need their expertise. It turns a slow bottleneck into a fast, efficient flow.
That is incredibly powerful, that proactive orchestration.
Yeah.
That really feels like the key differentiator. And thinking about how agentic AI, like the insights you get from AI Coach by Anil Natu, can help rethink these core processes. It just opens up so many possibilities. Okay, let's look at the other example. Hyper-personalization in marketing. What was the holdup there, even with Gen AI being so good at creating content?
Right. Gen AI is amazing at churning out personalized bits of content. Unique email lines, specific ad visuals, tailored calls to action. It can do that brilliantly. But the challenge was stringing it all together into a coherent, dynamic journey for each individual customer and adapting that journey in real time based on what the customer was actually doing. That still required marketers to manually set up incredibly complex rules and campaign flows. It just didn't scale for true one-to-one personalization across millions.
Became a bottleneck itself in a way.
Exactly. The marketers became the bottleneck.
So how does agentic AI tackle this? How does it go from just making the content to actually running the whole show dynamically?
And agentic AI takes those Gen AI content creation skills and then acts as the conductor for the whole orchestra. It builds these really rich individual customer profiles, constantly learning from website behavior, purchase history, any data the customer shares. It still uses Gen AI to create that unique N-of-one content, truly one-to-one stuff. But here's the crucial bit. The agent decides the best timing, the right sequence, the optimal channel for every interaction across the entire journey.
In real time.
In real time. It sees you clicked on an email, maybe browse a product page, and it decides what the very next best step is: show a specific ad, send a follow-up offer, wait a day. It enables these truly adaptive, optimized marketing experiences at a scale that was just impossible before. It connects the content creation directly to the dynamic execution.
Okay, so we've got a handle on what it is, how it works. Now let's zoom out a bit. Let's talk about the problems agentic AI is poised to solve. The report talks about trillion-dollar problems. These aren't small fixes. These are the deep systemic challenges that have been dragging down industries for years, right?
Exactly. Think about the things that consistently hamper growth or productivity. Often, it's not just one isolated issue, but this tangled web of manual steps, communication breakdowns, and siloed systems. Agentic AI isn't just about automating one task in that web. It's about intelligently coordinating across the whole thing, fundamentally addressing the root causes. It's like redesigning the business's nervous system.
Can you give us a feel for these big cross-industry pain points, like in retail?
Sure. In retail, you've got constant pressure on margins from rising costs, maybe huge inefficiencies in handling customer service or returns at scale. An agentic AI solution could be a customer experience agent managing complex issues smoothly, or an inventory planning agent that dynamically optimizes stock to cut waste and avoid stockouts.
And healthcare. We know that's got challenges.
Oh, absolutely. Chronic staffing shortages are a massive issue. Persistent problems in patient billing and revenue cycle management drain resources and frustrate patients. So you could have a care coordination agent ensuring seamless patient journeys, or a revenue cycle management agent automating the complex billing and claims process.
And financial services. We touched on claims, but what else?
Yeah, beyond claims, think about the complexities of Know Your Customer, or KYC processes. Error-prone, slow, high compliance risk. It's a major headache. An agentic KYC verification agent can intelligently process documents, check databases, assess risk, and speed up onboarding dramatically while improving compliance. The report makes a great point. These aren't just single-purpose bots. It talks about constellations of agents working together, tailored for specific industry needs, to fundamentally change how companies tackle their biggest operational hurdles.
So it's not just about efficiency gains, though those are obviously huge. What's the bigger picture impact on people, on the business itself? What really strikes me is how this seems less about replacing people and more about augmenting them, freeing them up.
That's a really critical point, and the report highlights it too. Agentic AI is designed to augment human capabilities. It takes over the routine, the repetitive, the complex but automatable tasks. That shifts the focus for human workers towards higher value activities.
Like what?
Strategic thinking, complex problem solving, creativity, empathy, building relationships, the stuff humans are uniquely good at. For the business, this means hitting both the top line, faster innovation, better customer engagement, and the bottom line, automating routine tasks, optimizing resources, spotting risks earlier. It unlocks a whole new level of productivity and potential. Tag strong demand signals for agentic AI.
It definitely sounds like businesses are seeing this potential. The report cites some really strong demand signals. Get this, the BCG IT buyer pulse check from late 2024. It said more than 90% of enterprises report interest in deploying agentic AI solutions within the next 3 years. 90%, that's huge.
It's massive. It shows this isn't some niche technology anymore. It's firmly on the strategic agenda for the vast majority of large organizations.
And where are they most interested in applying it first?
The top areas mentioned are customer service and a broad set of analytics use cases, which makes sense, right? Customer service is often a big cost center and directly impacts satisfaction. And using AI for deeper insights, better predictions across the business, that's always appealing. But yeah, that 90% figure really signals a major shift is underway.
And it's not just the end user companies feeling the buzz. Software vendors, investors, they're all piling in too, aren't they? The report notes software companies are mentioning agentic AI in their public filings 12 times more than just a year ago. 12 times.
Yeah, the momentum is undeniable. You see the big enterprise software players making major moves. Salesforce launching Agentforce is a huge signal. You see strategic acquisitions happening. Informatica, MoveWorks specifically to grab agentic capabilities. And collaborations are popping up, like the Workday Agent Partner Network, building out the ecosystem.
And the VC money is flowing.
Oh, yeah. The report quotes $60 billion in venture capital invested in agentic AI startups just in Q1 2025. $60 billion. That's serious market confidence if you connect these dots. The enterprise interest, the vendor strategies, the VC funding, these aren't just blips on the radar. They're really strong indicators pointing towards major, sustained growth for agentic AI deployments. The stage is definitely set.
Okay, so the interest is there, the potential is huge.
Yeah.
Let's talk dollars and cents. What does this actually translate to in terms of market size? The report throws around some pretty eye-watering numbers.
Sure.
$1 trillion market.
Seriously.
Seriously,
It's staggering when you look at the estimates. Just for the services part, the advisory work, implementation, ongoing maintenance for partners like Google Cloud Partners, they estimate the value pool is somewhere between $350 billion and $450 billion in the UX.
No, just for services.
Just for services. Globally, they put that services figure at around $1 trillion.
Well, that's huge. And what about the actual software itself, the application layer?
That's even bigger. The estimate for the full application layer value pool comes in at roughly $3 trillion. $3 trillion.
$1 trillion. Okay. My head's spinning a bit. And you mentioned that Salesforce quote earlier. The CEO saying the addressable market went to hundreds of billions in just a few months. That speed is incredible.
It really underscores how quickly this is moving. The potential is being recognized, and the market is forming rapidly around it. It links back to what AI Coach by Anil Nathu emphasizes. Understanding this scale is key. Hashtag demystifying the market sizing methodology.
Now, numbers that big, they can feel a bit abstract. How on earth did the report authors actually calculate something like that? They mentioned a detailed bottom-up model. Could you kind of walk us through the logic without getting too bogged down in the technicalities? How do you even start sizing something like this?
Sure. Think of it like this. They basically started by mapping out the entire U.S. workforce. What jobs do people do? How many people do those jobs? What do they get paid? They used data sources to figure out the total economic value tied up in all those work activities across different industries. That gave them a massive baseline number representing essentially the cost of labor.
Okay, so that's the total pie. How did they figure out how much of that pie agentic AI could potentially automate or augment.
Right, that was the next crucial step. They looked at detailed databases that break down jobs into specific tasks, like what activities does a marketing manager actually do all day? Then they applied some pretty rigorous criteria. Does this task involve digital interaction? Is it mostly objective, or does it need a lot of human nuance? Is the workflow structured? Is the necessary data available?
So kind of like a checklist for AI suitability.
Exactly. Based on those answers, they estimated how much of each task could be potentially augmented by an AI agent. They were conservative, using categories like fully augmentable, meaning the AI could handle maybe 85–90% of the task time partially augmentable, maybe 40–50%, and not augmentable at all. By applying these percentages across all the tasks and jobs, they could estimate the total economic value of work that agentic AI could potentially address.
Okay, that makes sense. And how do they get from that number to the value of the software itself, that about dollar application layer?
They made an assumption based on market trends that the software vendors, the companies providing the AI tools and platforms, would capture a certain percentage of that total value being augmented. They estimated this capture rate to be somewhere between 10% and 30%, depending on how automatable the work was. Applying that percentage to the total augmented value gave them the application layer estimate.
Got it. And then the final piece, the services market for partners. That $450 billion in the U.S. How did that number come about?
So first, they focused on larger companies, figuring SIs mostly serve them. Then they looked at that estimated software spend. There's generally a ratio in the market for every dollar spent on enterprise software. Companies tend to spend a certain amount on services to help them select, implement, and manage it. The report used an assumption that for every $1 spent on agentic AI software, businesses would likely spend $0.70 to $0.80 on SI services. They applied that ratio to the relevant software spend, excluding jobs with low automation potential, and that's how they landed on the U.S. services number.
And then scale that up globally using international labor data for the $1 figure.
Exactly. It's a pretty detailed step-by-step approach designed to build a realistic picture from the ground up.
Okay, so the market's potentially huge. What about the timeline? How quickly might we see this unfold? The report compares it to the cloud market, which took about 15 years to grow from under $20 billion to over $400 billion. Is agentic AI looking like a similar slow burn or maybe faster?
The feeling seems to be potentially faster, maybe significantly faster than cloud adoption was.
Really?
Well, there's a great quote in the report from a Google Cloud partner that sums it up. They basically said, when cloud started, it took longer because it was a massive transformation, needing new infrastructure, lots of upskilling. But for agentic AI, that cloud infrastructure is largely already in place. And COVID actually accelerated a lot of that digital groundwork.
Ah, so the foundations are already built in a way. We don't have to start from scratch like with cloud.
Precisely. Companies have already made the big shift to cloud. They've digitized many processes. They're more comfortable with as-a-service models. That removes a huge hurdle. Plus, just look at the general momentum in AI. The report mentions Stripe, finding that AI startups are hitting revenue milestones much faster than previous SaaS companies did.
Right. They mentioned reaching $5 million ARR in 24 months versus 37 months.
Yeah. That just shows the accelerated pace of innovation and adoption in the AI space right now. Agentic AI is riding that wave. So while the cloud analogy helps grasp the sheer scale of the opportunity, the speed could be quite different. We might see substantial value being realized much quicker, maybe within the next, say, 3 to 5 years. Tags, regional market dynamics.
Interesting. Now, the report also points out that this won't look the same everywhere. The market dynamics differ quite a bit by region. Let's start with North America. What's the picture there?
North America is definitely the heavyweight. It represents the largest chunk of the potential SI services market, about 44% globally. This is mainly driven by having a lot of highly professionalized jobs, big enterprises with deep pockets, and generally high-tech maturity. They're often early adopters.
Which industries are leading the charge there?
The report highlights tech and TMEG. That's technology, telecom, media, entertainment, gaming, and also financial services and insurance. Together, those sectors make up nearly 40% of the opportunity in North America. Lots of interest in both customer-facing stuff and back-office automation.
Okay, what about EMEI, Europe, Middle East, Africa? How does it compare?
EMEA also has a strong professional workforce, but the opportunity seems a bit more evenly spread across different industries compared to North America. One area that stands out is automotive and industrial. That's about 20% of the regional potential. Also, things like GDPR mean there's generally high awareness around data maturity and privacy, which is relevant for AI adoption, both as an enabler and maybe a point of caution.
Right. And JPAC, Japan, Asia Pacific, what's the focus there?
In JPAC, the value seems more weighted towards augmenting tasks done by clerical staff, sales roles, trade workers, so maybe more focus on operational efficiency, high-volume tasks.
And the key industries.
Retail CPG, auto industrial, and financial services seem to be the big three, making up around 70% of the pie there. Think industries with lots of operational complexity, maybe distributed workforces.
Makes sense. And finally, LATAM, Latin America.
LATAM has a smaller overall market size, and it's more mixed. About 40% of the value comes from augmenting managerial or professional roles, another 40% from technicians, clerical, sales. Industry-wise, retail CPG, the public sector, and auto industrial are the biggest areas, covering about 60% of the LATAM opportunity.
So it really does vary. There's that quote, again, from the Google Cloud partner.
Yeah, saying North America often leads due to investment size and lower regulatory hurdles. Europe follows maybe 3-6 months behind, and then specific pockets pick up in APAC. It really drives home the point that, for you listening, understanding where your organization or your market fits into this global picture is pretty crucial for planning. And again, resources like AI Coach by Anil Nathu can help navigate these regional nuances.
Okay, so we've painted this picture of massive unfolding opportunity.
Yeah.
But what does this mean for the partners, the system integrators, the consultants out there? The report is pretty blunt. This Tonity services opportunity isn't just a new product line. It demands a strategic rethink, acting fast. Why the urgency? What needs rethinking?
The urgency comes from the fact that this isn't just incremental change, it's fundamental. Sitting on the sidelines means missing out on shaping this future and capturing significant value. SIs can't just keep doing what they've always done. They need to evolve their role, become more strategic advisors, helping clients redesign core business functions around AI agents, not just implement the tech. It's about moving from being a technical implementer to being a long-term transformation partner, focusing on top-level business outcomes.
Right. The report outlines 5 key themes for this strategic shift. Let's dig into the first one. Evolving the SI delivery model beyond just technical execution. What does that look like day to day?
It means customer expectations are changing. It's less about, hey, can you migrate our SAP system to the cloud? More about how can AI agents help us solve this fundamental business problem, like reducing customer churn or speeding up product development. Clients want to see value fast. They want proof of concepts that actually work, not just PowerPoint decks.
So more upfront work, understanding the business problem, less just jumping into the tech build.
Exactly. More emphasis on that upfront consultative design, deeply understanding the existing process, figuring out how agents can best be embedded, potentially redesigning the workflow entirely. And yeah, that shift towards prototypes. There's that quote, "We have moved away from slides and now bring agent prototypes, proves ROI instantly, get a POC in under 2 weeks versus 4 to 6 weeks." That speed and tangible demonstration are becoming key.
And what about the people side? Getting employees comfortable with these new AI colleagues.
That's crucial too. SIs need to get much better at change management in this context, helping clients drive adoption, identifying internal champions, managing the risks as agents move into live environments. It's not just about the tech, it's about integrating it effectively into how people work.
And ongoing support. Does that change too?
Definitely. Basic maintenance is still needed, but new agent-specific things emerge. Like, how do you manage a whole fleet of agents working together? How do you measure their performance accurately? How do you keep their knowledge up to date so they don't, drift and become less effective over time? It becomes a much more active, continuous optimization process.
Okay. Theme 2, rethinking commercial structures. Since agentic AI can deliver really measurable results, the old time and materials model might not always fit, right? What new pricing strategies are emerging?
Right. It opens the door to align pricing more directly with the value created. Traditional models like T&M and fixed fee will still exist for predictability. But the report highlights 3 newer options. First, a kind of recurring SaaS-like pricing. If an SI builds a really good, reusable agentic solution, they could potentially license it out, creating sticky, predictable revenue.
Like selling digital workers on subscription.
Sort of, yeah. Or selling access to a specific capability powered by agents. Second, non-recurring transaction-based fees. Maybe a one-off fee per agent deployed or per specific outcome achieved by an agent. Good for defined, non-continuous needs. And third, the really interesting one, outcome-based pricing, where the SI's payment is directly tied to the measurable business results the agents deliver, like we get paid a percentage of the cost savings achieved.
That requires confidence.
It does. The SI needs to be confident in the ROI and willing to share the risk and reward, but it perfectly aligns incentives with client value.
Okay, theme 3, Using new tools to deal with data readiness. Data is always the elephant in the room for AI projects, isn't it? How is that changing with agentic AI?
It's still crucial, but the approach to data readiness is evolving. It's less about having perfectly pristine, structured data before you even start. It's more about architecting smart data pipelines so the agents can reliably access the information they need when they need it, even if it's messy or unstructured. And newer Gen AI-powered tools are actually helping here. They can help SIs quickly map out a client's existing data landscape, connect different sources, databases, APIs, even documents, and make sense of it all.
So SI can start faster,
Yeah.
even if the client's data isn't perfect.
Exactly. They can leverage existing data, pull in external data, maybe even use synthetic data for initial pilots or proofs of concept. Things like modern data connectors and protocols for agents to talk to each other also help smooth things out. The key takeaway is that agentic systems learn and improve. You don't need perfect data on day one. Smart pipeline design and Gen AI's ability to handle messier data lower that initial barrier quite a bit.
Right. Theme 4. Building the capabilities to actually scale these solutions from a cool pilot to being used across the business. What do SIs need to get good at here?
Well, they need the core skills. Mapping out business processes, redesigning them with agents in mind, using the best AI platforms like Vertex, AI mentioned in the report, to build the agents, and setting up solid integrations. But beyond the basics, strategic investment pays off. Building up proprietary knowledge, creating reusable assets like pre-built connectors or specific model approaches, and having really strong change management expertise. That all helps accelerate deployment and deliver more value.
And what about getting these solutions successfully into production and keeping them running well?
That needs robust practices. Continuous integration, rigorous testing, solid infrastructure planning. Go-to-market teams need practical ammo too, like libraries of successful use cases for different industries, clear guidance on deploying ethically and complying with regulations, ROI calculators, and again, those compelling demos and prototypes. And ongoing support is vital, monitoring agent performance, attributing ROI accurately, and handling that new agentic maintenance, like keeping their knowledge fresh.
Okay, final theme, number 5. Focusing on high-value, industry-specific, and customer-specific use cases. With so many possibilities, how should partners choose where to start?
Prioritization is key. You can't boil the ocean. The report suggests focusing based on opportunity size and how easy it is to deploy an agentic solution. They talk about a two-horizon approach. Horizon 1, go after the quick wins. Things like customer service agents where there's a clear near-term fit. This builds momentum, demonstrates value quickly, and helps build internal capabilities. Horizon 2, simultaneously start building towards the bigger, more transformative stuff. Those agentic ecosystems like the N-of-1 hyper-personalization that might touch marketing, sales, and service. This dual strategy helps build the brand, develop reusable IP, and deliver increasing value over time. And the report, which is central to our discussion here on AI Coach by Anil Nathu, really stresses that acting decisively now on both horizons is crucial.
So let's bring this down to earth again. What does this actually look like in specific industries? The report says the real magic happens when agentic AI is tailored to the unique challenges and workflows of a sector, right?
Absolutely. You can't just drop a generic AI into a bank or a hospital and expect miracles. You need to understand the specific regulations, the operational pressures, the data nuances. That industry context is everything.
Okay, let's dive into technology, telecom, media, entertainment, gaming. These guys are usually ahead on tech, but the report says they still have execution bottlenecks. Where's the opportunity and what are agents doing there?
Yeah, TechMig is a huge opportunity. The report sizes the global SI services market there at 125B to 175 dealers. Even though they're tech savvy, they still hit friction points in areas like getting content out efficiently, managing complex networks, designing game narratives, or even software development itself.
Let's pick one. Content marketing and campaign optimization in media and entertainment. What's the old way like? What's the pain point?
The traditional way is just slow and fragmented. You've got campaign briefs, then copywriters and designers creating static assets, then maybe brand teams reviewing, requesting edits, then marketing ops manually scheduling everything across different platforms.
Lots of handoffs.
Tons of handoffs. And analyzing performance often happens way later, offline, leading to slow feedback loops for improving creative. It delays launches and really limits how personalized you can be.
Okay, so how does an agentic solution change that workflow?
An agentic content marketing agent basically turns it into a continuous loop. It ingests the brief, uses GenAI to draft personalized content variations, copy images, maybe even video snippets for different audience segments. It can route things for approval more smoothly, then autonomously schedule and deploy the content across CMS systems, ad platforms, social media, optimizing the timing and placement.
Now it closes the loop.
That's the key. It constantly monitors how the content is performing, runs A/B tests automatically, and feeds those insights back to refine the messaging in real time. Strategy connects directly to execution and back again. It means faster launches, better engagement, and more bang for your creative buck. And you see similar transformations in other parts of TMEG too, like telco using agents for intelligent network management to predict and prevent outages, or gaming using agents to help create vast, branching narratives that adapt to player choices, something that was incredibly hard to scale manually.
Very cool. All right, let's switch gears to financial services and insurance. We know they're often dealing with legacy systems, complex rules. What's the market size? And give us a key example.
Financial services insurance is another giant opportunity, similar in size to TMEG, actually 125B to 175B globally for SI services. A big chunk of that, over 60% in the US, is in the core finance segment itself.
Let's look at underwriting support in insurance. What's the typical manual process like?
It's usually very labor-intensive. Underwriters have to manually pull data from all sorts of places: property records, credit reports, maybe inspection photos, external databases. It's fragmented. Then they apply these often complex, static rule sets and checklists to assess the risk. If data is missing or something looks weird, it gets kicked up the chain for manual review, causing delays and inconsistencies. It slows everything down.
So how does an agentic underwriting support agent streamline this?
It automates pretty much the whole data gathering and initial assessment piece. It can pull data from internal systems, external databases, even analyze things like satellite images or weather data relevant to property risk. It applies the underwriting logic consistently, generates risk scores, and crucially, it flags only the real outliers or complex cases that genuinely need a human underwriter's judgment. Maybe an unusual damage pattern or a complex claim history.
So the humans focus only on the tricky stuff.
Exactly. It dramatically speeds up the process for the majority of applications, leading to faster quotes, more consistency, and letting those expert underwriters focus their time where it adds the most value. And it's not just underwriting. Think about wealth management agents helping advisors generate truly personalized financial plans that adapt as client goals change. Or banking agents automating those painful KYC checks to speed up onboarding while actually improving compliance.
Okay, let's talk retail and consumer packaged goods, CPG. Big pressures there. Personalization versus profit, tricky supply chains, costs. What's the opportunity and where are agents helping?
Retail CPG is another big one, maybe $150 back at $200 globally for services. The biggest needs seem to be around customer service, especially post-purchase support like returns, and also getting smarter about inventory and demand planning. It's all about connecting the dots in real time.
Let's zoom in on customer service and returns in retail. Why is that often such a pain point?
Because resolving even a simple return can involve so many manual steps across different systems, right? An agent takes the request, has to look up the order, check the return policy, maybe get an approval, process the refund, update inventory. It's slow, it's costly, different agents might handle it differently, and customers get frustrated waiting. Complex cases get escalated, adding even more cost and delay.
How does an agentic customer service agent improve this?
It tackles it end to end. It understands the customer's request in real time, instantly retrieves the order info, checks the policy rules, determines eligibility, and can automatically process the return or refund, update all the relevant systems, and notify the customer.
All without human intervention for most cases.
For the majority of standard cases, yes. Only the truly complex or ambiguous ones get flagged for a human agent. It makes the whole process faster, much more consistent, cheaper for the retailer, and way less frustrating for the customer. Improves loyalty, protects margins. And in CPG, think about inventory planning. Agents ingesting real-time sales data, promotion plans, supply chain info to automatically forecast demand and trigger replenishment orders, cutting down on waste and stockouts. It's about making the whole supply chain more responsive.
Okay, quick hits on a few others. Healthcare and life sciences. Big opportunity there, too.
Definitely. $100 B to $150 globally, huge pressures from staff shortages, admin burdens, slow claims, life sciences dealing with complex trials.
And a key solution.
Revenue cycle management automation is a big one. Agents handling the complex claims process, end-to-end eligibility checks, coding, fraud detection, payment initiation. Frees up specialists, speeds up payments. Also care coordination, drug discovery.
Lots of potential.
Automotive and industrial.
Massive opportunity. $200 to $250 globally. Think complex supply chains, need for uptime.
Key solution.
Predictive maintenance is huge. Agents monitoring equipment data, predicting failures before they happen, scheduling maintenance proactively. Turns maintenance from a cost center into a way to boost efficiency and avoid costly downtime. Also things like automating B2B sales processes.
And finally, the public sector.
Still significant, 125B to 175B globally. Agencies face pressure to deliver better services faster, often with limited resources and old systems.
And where can agents help?
Fraud detection is a prime example. Agents continuously monitoring transactions, spotting anomalies in real time, flagging high-risk cases with evidence attached, making investigations faster and more effective. Also, things like automating public communications and outreach. What's really striking across all these industries, isn't it, is how the agents aren't just doing one task faster, they're fundamentally rewiring entire workflows, moving from slow, reactive manual steps to fast, proactive, intelligent automation. It really shows the depth of change possible, something AI coached by Anil Natu consistently explores.
So with all this amazing potential, how is Google Cloud actually helping partners grab this opportunity? What's their approach?
Well, the report makes it clear they're really committed to empowering their partners here. It's about combining the partners' industry expertise with Google's tech and AI innovation. They obviously have a deep history in AI research. Think about breakthroughs like their Gemini models, specialized hardware like TPUs. They bring a lot of fundamental tech to the table. But they're also emphasizing open innovation and thought leadership, which is crucial for building an ecosystem.
Open innovation, like open sourcing tools.
Exactly. They mentioned two key examples. First, the Agent Development Kit, or ADK. It's an open source framework to make building agents easier and faster. Importantly, it's designed to be model agnostic and deployment agnostic, so developers aren't locked into one specific way of doing things.
Okay, that's helpful. What's the second one?
The Agent-to-Agent protocol, or A2A, this is really interesting. It's about creating an open standard so different agents, maybe built by different companies, can actually talk to each other and collaborate effectively. They mentioned over 50 partners are already contributing to it. That kind of interoperability is going to be vital as these systems get more complex.
That makes sense. You don't want silos even among your agents.
Uh,
Now, what about the platforms and tools for actually building these things? How do they help with that perennial data challenge?
Right. Data is always key. They highlight BigQuery, their data warehouse platform, as being really central for AI. It's designed to handle the whole data lifecycle, from getting data in to processing it to getting insights out. It has connectors to pull in data from lots of places, even external data sets or unique Google sources. The idea is to make it easier for partners to quickly get the data needed to build and test agent prototypes, even if the client's internal data isn't perfect initially. It speeds up those early pitches.
Okay, so BigQuery helps with the data foundation. What about building the actual complex agents?
For that, they position Vertex AI as their unified platform covering the whole AI lifecycle. Developers can use that ADK we mentioned, along with the Vertex AI agent engine, to build sophisticated multi-agent systems. A key thing they stress is interoperability. You can access hundreds of different large language models through Vertex AI, not just Google's, and you can use other frameworks too. Plus, it has built-in MLOps tools to manage the agents once they're deployed, monitor them, optimize them, keep them running well.
And once the agents are built, how do businesses actually manage and use them, especially non-technical users?
That's where something called Agent Space comes in. Think of it as a central hub or control panel for agents. It gives customers a single place to see and manage agents, maybe from different partners, through an agent gallery. It also offers a no-code interface and agent designer, so business users can potentially build simpler agents using a visual tool without needing to write code.
So options for both developers and business users.
Exactly. The report shows this dual approach. Developers can go code first using ADK and Vertex AI, while business users have a low-code option with Agent Space. Plus, it has connectors to common apps like Google Drive or Confluence, making it easier to integrate agents into existing workflows. It's about providing flexibility.
Now, with all this power comes responsibility. How is Google Cloud thinking about deploying agentic AI responsibly?
They emphasize this strongly. They point to their established AI principles as their guide, stressing an unwavering commitment to responsible development and deployment. They talk about balancing being bold, innovating quickly for user benefit with being responsible, ensuring safety, security, privacy, and genuinely addressing user needs. It's presented as fundamental to building trust with customers and partners as this powerful technology rolls out. Hashtag tag action plan in conclusion.
Okay, we've covered a lot of ground. Let's try to wrap this up. It's crystal clear, isn't it? Agentic AI isn't some sci-fi future. It's happening now. And it brings this massive, almost unprecedented opportunity to completely reshape how businesses work, how value gets created. That $1 trillion global services market, that's a serious call to action. So for you listening, thinking about your own business or role, what are the key takeaways? The report concludes with 6 guiding principles. Let's run through them as an action plan.
Absolutely. First one, identify pain points and build prototypes. Don't get lost in the tech for its own sake. Find real, high-value business problems your customers have, and then show them working prototypes early on. Prove the value tangibly right from the first conversation.
Makes sense. Show, don't just tell. Second, reimagine core business processes. This isn't about just automating the edges. CISOs need to step up, be consultative, help clients fundamentally redesign workflows around agents, think transformation, not just tweaks.
Third, use new tools to solve data gaps. Don't let our data isn't ready be a showstopper. Leverage the new Gen AI tools, smart data pipelines, modern protocols. You can often work with the data landscape as is much more effectively now to get started quickly.
Fourth, deploy agents at scale. Moving from pilot to production is critical. This needs strong change management skills, helping the organization adopt the agents and robust processes to track performance and demonstrate that clear ROI. Embed them properly.
Fifth, manage the full agentic lifecycle. The job isn't done at deployment. Partners need to offer ongoing support managing agent fleets, keeping their knowledge fresh, optimizing performance, and building reusable IP, those pre-built components, creates long-term advantage.
And finally, sixth, innovate commercially. Think beyond just charging for time. Explore those newer pricing models, recurring, transaction-based, maybe even outcome-based, that align your fees directly with the measurable business impact the agents are delivering.
Spot on. And maybe one final thought to leave people with. If we connect this all back to the bigger picture, the shift to agentic AI, it's not just about doing current things more efficiently, it's about fundamentally redefining what's even possible. Think about it. If agents handle much of the complex execution, what could your teams focus on instead? What entirely new breakthroughs or value propositions could that enable, things we might not even be imagining today?
That's a great question to ponder. How could this truly free up human potential in your own context? Lots to think about. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive today. Visit the AI Coach website for more AI insights.